brother that was a good friend of mine when he was here, and when he went back, I contacted him, and I made that contact with the security forces of Iran to tell them and lay out what I thought about the United States. And laid it out. I never talked to him since. But they're acting off of that. They're acting off, you can see it, they're acting off of that. Just like the other team, the bootlickers are acting off of, right? We got to cut the nigga off from the other brothers, the old timers that came back and that they like him still, and they've been in and around government, and we got to keep them away from them. I had people would call me and say, I'm coming out there, where are you at? And pick you up, and da-da-da-da-da. You don't have to they can't do that. That's what they're saying anyway. The old friends that went back, they know something's going on. And they know the kind of cars that drive, the foreign ministry drives certain kind of cars, little gray cars, and they wear certain shoes. Who's these people? I said, they just guys. And I tell them, they say, that's them. So, no, take it easy. We have to play along with this. That's where the real long game comes in, where you have the ability, we always use the term protracted. It's over a long period of time. And most people, when I say long period of time, now I'm talking about going into 45, I'm talking about it going into super decades, because the first decade during the 60s was a serious learning period. It was an accelerated learning period. So I was able to teach what I learned in that period to the Iranians. All the Iranians was young kids when they was here. They were college kids. I was 35, 40 years, I was getting up there, So everything I told them, they remembered, and everything that the movement was encountering here, they remembered, and they knew. They would ask me, Imam Musa, what are we going to do next? Not what are they going to do here, what is Iran going to do next? Remember I mentioned that before? I mentioned that before because it was true. They wouldn't be saying that unless we had some combination figured out that was working pretty good, and they knew it better than we did. What they knew with this, the brothers, how does he coming up with this? What are we going to do? Because they're looking at, oh man, if this happens, don't worry about that. That's going to happen probably, but you're going to do this, that, and that. And they was doing it. And they appreciated it too. Because remember, when you're young kids and you're over in a foreign country and everybody in that country hates you, and you got one friend that can tell you where everything is, and when they have them big conferences, everybody in the conference hear it, and they go back and hey. So, all the people that went back home remembered. And some of them are big shots now. Some of them are real big shots. And how is it that a president of a country, right, will send you an email, whatever it is, that stuff, if you done got assaulted and the president of the most hated country in the world send you something? Hope you get better, or whatever it was said, I didn't even, but anyway, the U.S. can't even take care of their own citizens. How can they talk about coming 12,000, right? That type of thing. Okay. Now, let's get into trauma. What's the trauma? If you're a homeboy is getting back within the range of the presidency, right? Whatever it is, he ain't on the doo-doo list no more. Whatever it is, he's got the biggest, when he goes to a city right now, 50,000 people come out, sometime 100. They come out. You see him trying not to mention his name. He's the most popular guy in Iran.
Right. Even to the point where they say, well, he may not even have a chance on this one. I've heard that.
That's what they saying.
That's what they're saying, right.
Well, why they keep him? Well, let him run then.
Right.
And the Rockbar hasn't opposed him.
Right. Right.
The Rockbar opposed him. First of all, if you saw the lecture 2009, when all this stuff was going on, the Rockbar gave a lecture. You ever see that lecture? The Rockbar gave it.
I remember you talking.
Yeah, it was the 19th of July, 2009, when all of that fitna. The news here was saying Iran is going to crumble, they're getting ready to break, and they wasn't even, the people came out, man. See, when you know the culture, you could tell how they was frantic, mud, bog, America. And when the Rockbar gave his talk, he talked for quite a while. He said, and I address you, Imam Mahdi, I only have myself and my broken body to offer. Everybody was crying. And even my kids said, they ain't never seen, you know, because niggas don't be crying, you know, about, but I said, boy, look at here. That was deep. It was deep, and the people was frantic. They was dressed up in their martyrdom stuff, I mean, white stuff ready to go. I said, they can't do nothing with Iran. They ready, I mean, you know, they're not frantic. They're focused, but they ready to roll, just like they came out last year by the millions, right? Remember when Soleimani was trying to cause fitna with Iraq and Iran? They unified Iraq and Iran. So the handkerchief-headed Muslims have been set aside, or they have self-set themselves aside. All of them, every one of them, they came here last summer. Please tell us a different story. Remember I was telling y'all that I met in the park with the guy come over here, a special trip, because of what he was hearing me say. Black lives matter, doesn't it matter? I said, hell no, it don't matter. Black lives don't matter in America. What are you talking about? But those people look so innocent. I said, that man is sissies and all kind of crazy people running black. Right, tell the truth. Man, black lives, Negro lives matter. I said, those are good people, the common people. But they ain't no leadership. We try to tell them, how many times we try to tell them, ain't nobody listening to nothing. We're not listening. They were on purpose. We are not listening to you people talk about nothing. And why is you could hear the guy trying to get me to say something positive about it. There ain't nothing happening over there. It's all set up. And all this, that, and other. And they sent one of my friends here, personally, we sat in that park when you go right over there, Fort DuPont Park. He had his notebook out and he would, what about this, what about this? And he closed his notebook. He would close it because he didn't tell him what I told him. I I said, ain't nothing happening, you know. And then you got to think, just like in Oakland, when I was out there for the same park, they call it Bobby Hutton Park, we used to call it the Infirmary Park. Geronimo Pratt was killed and died in Africa years ago. And they had a memorial for him at that park. And I just happened to zip by there. And so the guy that's been doing different stuff out there, he said, hey, why don't you come and give a little talk, because everybody's coming up on stage. And so you got to realize how people are looking at it. It was a beautiful lady, about 50 years old. She looked like she was half Native American. She married a big-time Negro over there. One of the big ooga-booga Negroes, you know, all that black stuff that make black people fly backwards. Not Dr. Ben, but almost like Dr. Ben for California. She's married to him. And she asked me, are you the one that they call Big Black? I said, they used to call me Big Hank. At the same time, undercover police walked up to me for about the, I don't know, umpteenth time. No, not at that, but at other things. And he wouldn't even be looking at me. He said, you know, we're all proud of you, Mr. Police. Because I'm the only nigga that ever went straight, as far as they, you know, and he was telling me, he wasn't looking at me, and we're in the park. And this is about the third time, we're proud of you, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So, you know, all the police would arrest me, they'd be white or Mexican, you ever seen that? See, all the black police in Oakland, they got the word. They know this nigga that really came around. And if they join a department to help, like they getting old now, to help black people not get killed and do this, that, and other, a little bit of that is still left, you know? So when they run across, and they got their record, and they've been on this for a decade, many decades, longer than here. The point I'm making is that there's a whole crew and there's a whole team that understands where we're coming from and understand what we're trying to do. Boss man think it's a big paper network with the chief and undercover Snoopy Whoopy stuff. No, this man is stupid. The white man is stupid. He's stupid and he got some dumb Negroes with him. The reason I say they're dumb is because they done listened to this stuff and they done seen it and they done added it up and they still, I'm with the white man. It's okay. It ain't no big deal. But, hey man, no, I'm telling you, those things that we have talked about here are all in the works. Look at how history is doing. History eased Khatami out of the way. History have preserved Ahmadinejad, right? To the least, so he couldn't run the time before. The stuff he was doing had them burning up over there. Them Uncle Toms, he was really helping the poor. Zarif and them are not from the poor. Hell, they wouldn't be in school over here if they was from the poor, right? No poor people, no. All of those UN mumbo jumbos, a lot of the people, they had to go through serious stuff in their universities just to get over here. So, if you say half of them remain revolutionary, half of them is middle-of-the-road bootlickers. and they believe in the white man. You can tell who they are. They don't believe in themselves. And I don't care how good somebody is from their home, the white man's system is better. And they are classical idiots, and they can't see no wrong that this idiot is doing. Hey man, boss man is here, boss man is permanent. That's what they think. Okay, I'm going to speed up a little bit. When did we recognize it? The first lecture given on this subject was February 1990. Remember the one I talked about a sewer? The diplomacy is like a sewer. When you work in the sewer and you go home, you can't smell yourself. You've been in the sewer, but everybody else can smell you. Dad, you must have gotten a lot of SHIT today because they could smell it. You can't smell it, right? But everybody else smelled it. That's what I was talking about in 1990. That it had all, Imam has been dead for less than a year, and they got a shift going on. And we saw it then. What is longevity and patience? Is being able to hold on with watching all of this stuff decade after decade after decade. That's what longevity is. Why we ain't jump up and did nothing about this? Hell, because we wanted them to do it almost. Did anybody see the response I was saying? I was saying, great, we got something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is wonderful. And my son was looking at me. He said, Dad, we got to take you to the hospital. I said, the hospital? My head ain't hurting. I wasn't even going to go. Until I kind of looked at myself a little bit and looked at what they was looking at. See, they was looking at me, and they said, man, this guy is fired up and jumping up and down, and he think this is great. Maybe they done busted his head open and run him crazy or something. So, okay, anyway, I'm going to speed up. I know you may not be able to follow all of this, but if you get the trend, that's the main thing. My method of keeping score. It's talk about sending me a message, we don't need you anymore. This is we don't need you anymore, your analysis, and your opinion. This is what they went and got, these other guys, the Iranians, and this is what the school, almost the whole thing was about that. Which they would have what they need, their own experts. But a few years ago, they wanted to prove to me that, yeah, see, we really don't need you. And that's when, don't come to the daftar no more, don't do this, don't do that, and I said, okay, that's fine. Now look at them. Just imagine. And we'd had a big shows up at the UN, just to be thankful. One of them, they had all these white folks and all these groups there, and they had the groups, some of them being open, so, and I know that they're hypocrites and leftists and everything. And they'd have the national Negro sitting up next to the president, the national Negro here, and then the second national Negro, the Sunni Negro from up in New York. And he'd be sitting over there. And where would I be sitting? Way in the back, way in the back. Right? And then they would have the Negroes say things like, we gotta go and talk to them about money. So they was telling, you know, the national Negroes people are, which don't do know Islam. And when I'm in Iran the last 3 times, they're trying to convince me that they're all right. That's all right. I said, the national Negro ain't no good. He ain't never been no, he can't be any good. He would give a sign or a signal. The national Negro ain't no good. But they're trying to edge me away. They don't want to have nothing to do with me anymore. They think we got the Negroes, we got the phony people, Medea Benjamin them, we got all of them. So that didn't happen overnight. That happens over a period of time, and you could tell when they got their thing set. We're in pocket. And now, look where things are. When they had the big show in Syria, they didn't invite Zarif. And now the newspapers is just, everybody understands now. But we understood then. And that is a signal, that's a sign for us to wrap it up, going back to California, and take care of everything. There. And everything will be taken care of. And it doesn't make a difference what happened. You have to understand that the flow of movement. We bought all this property around here to build it and develop it, right? And that property, this property, and to build a core of Islamic movement right in the city. And people can see, okay, all right. That's only partially true. Because it would be a mystery of what boss man is going to do when we do that. And he's going to be cooperative as long as we're going the way he thinks we're going to go. So when we have Abdul Jalil living there, head of security, you ever see security that don't no security? Remember he was supposed to be in charge of the physical fitness program? And the only thing that got bigger on him was his belly. And what's the name still comes here and eats food and everything that helped him slip out of the house next birthday? Years ago with a U-Haul. And he still comes. Like some of the people has been doing them, they still come and visit. Hey, how you doing? I don't say, you niggas can't come in here. Man, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all are munafiqs. Not one word. How's that, nigga? Welcome. He likes a lot of food. Hey, he wants some